What's up, Mamsters? Welcome to What to Know Wednesdays with me, Ma'am Kimi. And today we'll be talking about COVID stories you probably didn't know about. COVID anniversary. So let's start. Hi, Mamsters. So it's been a year since the pandemic started, and I know we've all adapted to the new normal. It's been difficult, but we made it. It's not over yet, but we're getting there. Today, I'd like to share with you, Mamsters, COVID stories you probably didn't know about. And this video goes out to those who don't believe in the virus. Sabog na lang ninyo. It's just so... It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart hearing people not believing in the pandemic and the virus, even though it has claimed millions of lives. You know, sucks. So, yeah. I've been deployed to the ICU 3 COVID for a year now, and it puts me in a ringside seat to the battles of COVID. I see the struggles my patients go through, and hearing people claiming that the virus isn't real just disheartens me. It doesn't give due respect sa struggles that my patients are going through, you know? So that's it. So my first story is about my patient in bed something. He was an overseas worker, an OFW from somewhere. He's a dad, and ka-age sa parents natin. So, around that age. 60s, late 50s to late 60s, around that range. He decided to go home for good since the lockdown is causing a lot of hassle to everyone. He wanted to be with his family na. He retired, and so he went home. He went back here to the Philippines. Upon arriving, syempre he got swabbed, and then it was negative in Manila. And then he flew over here to Davao, and then he got re-swabbed. And then became symptomatic, and when the swab results came, he tested out positive with COVID. So long story short, all positive patients, asymptomatic and symptomatic, are to be quarantined. Some sa hospitals, others would be placed in treatment facilities. So he was symptomatic. He had the flu, had cough. So a general rule here in Davao City, all COVID symptomatic patients are only to be catered in the government hospital which I work at ba? Tama ba? So, yeah. Basta, so, all patients that are symptomatic are to be placed in SPMC only. Until naabot ang time na we were congested with COVID patients. So, private hospitals had to cater COVID patients eventually. But anyway, so he had to be admitted in SPMC. Long story short, he was placed in the COVID ward, which used to be our private rooms in SPMC. So tagsa silag room. It's just called COVID ward na, but it used to be our pay ward. So he was placed there, and then he kind of got worse. He needed oxygen, which our usual cases for our very heavily symptomatic COVID patient. So he needed oxygen. That's why he needed to be transferred to ICU 3. So take note ha, wala pa siya kauli. He was just from the airport, got swabbed, tested out positive, symptomatic, had to be admitted, and then fast forward, he's now one of our patients in the ICU 3. And then, so he continued his job there. He was fine. The only thing that was wrong was his need for oxygen. So he had oxygen, and he still continued his work from our ICU rooms. He would use his laptop, you know, mura siya work from home dito sa cubicle, and then he was fine. Just needed the oxygen, but then things didn't go in favor for his health. He got worse. So aside from needing oxygen, he needed, you know, the usual COVID meds, Rende, severe and all that, Dexa. And then things turned out for the worse. Fast forward, he got intubated. And he tried his best. He really tried his best. He was intubated for a while. And you know how COVID patients are. No one can visit them aside from us healthcare professionals. So he was alone without his loved ones. Wa pa jud siya kauli. His son would just bring his stuff over. Like, he'd bring him food. Pero we will be the nurses will be the ones to give it to the patient to minimize exposure. So, until, diba, he got intubated. So, until he died. He died. So, that's my point. I'm sharing this story with you guys because this pains me. He was a father to a family, and his intention was just to go home, and then wala siya kauli. Kanang unya ikaw, di ka mutuo sa COVID, kanang asa imong respeto para sa mga pasyente na gaantos. Kana lang, di ba? It's just sad, and that's my story. That's my first story. And my next story would be, my God, my next story would be from another patient of mine. They were a couple. The wife was asymptomatic, so she had to be placed in a treatment facility. And then the husband was super symptomatic, so he had to be placed here sa among ICU 3. He needed hemoperfusion and syempre the usual remdesivir and loads of oxygen. So he had a difficulty in breathing. Like, it was fairly difficult for him to breathe on his own. So there, he had oxygen. The doctors needed to, you know, wash out or clean out his blood. So simply put it that way. So hemoperfusion needed to be done and all. And then fast forward, maybe after 2 to 3 days, it was their anniversary. So part of our job as nurses in the ICU 3, since no one is allowed to be with the patient in their cubicles, isolation hits them on the face real hard. So we encourage them to do video calls with their loved ones, and our job would be, syempre, to contact the loved ones if our patients are having a difficult time handling their phones. And so my friend and I, he was our favorite patient, so we would always go directly to him, fix his bed, change his diapers and such. And if hagpata na mo iyang food, kami mag-feed sa iya, fish, rice, whatever he wants to eat, whatever his diet was that time. And then we would call his wife through Messenger. So they would do video calls, and then the wife would sing to him. Then they celebrated their anniversary that way, and it just sucks. Ay, kamabaw na akong luha. It just sucks kay, you know, I don't know how long they were married, for siguro mga 20 years or more. They were a couple in their early 50s, late 40s. So, and then, you know, they didn't deserve to celebrate their anniversary that way, with one struggling in the ICU and the other really, really helpless in the treatment facility because they were apart and they couldn't help one another. Nya ang isa baya was not really doing that well. You know, so for you to say that you don't believe in COVID, dyo kay ayo, kay murag, wala dyo kay respeto sa mga kaani, sa mga patients. So, kana, fast forward, he also died, and, you know, it sucks. And then, that's it. I mean, you know, I could see the wife from the video call, murag makita. Not gonna lie, I know she knows that her partner might not make it, but she still encourages him sa video call, like, o iki ko, hilakilak ko, gago. Jollibee, akong tissue. Kababoy, wala ko lang yung tissue. Okay, going back. Makita na ko ba sa video calls, and about the wife would sing to him, and then we would hold the phone. And, sir, oh, your wife is singing to you. And then he would tell his wife, I miss you, I miss you. There. I forgot what their endearment was. Basta, I miss you, I love you. They were really showy. It was really cute. And then, after the wife would sing to him, the wife would tell him na, oh, the nurses are really, really taking care of you there. Hinungitan ka pa. Swerte kay ka. Ana, ako diri, walay muhingit sa ako. Ana, the wife would tell him that. Then the wife would say, oh, pagaling ka ha. Pagaling ka kasi magkita pa tayo pagkatapos nito. Di pa tayo nakaselebrate ng anniversary natin. And then, you know, she was really one tough woman because you could see that she was holding it back just to appear happy sa video calls. It's so heartbreaking. Wala ka OA, wait. So, our patient died, manggod. So, wala lang. That was sad. You know, it's really, really sad. And then, you know, I even had a colleague. She was a doctor. She tested out positive for COVID. I know, I'm just sharing two stories, but this would be just a side story, or marag pakapin lang ba na, you know, she tested out positive together with her mom. So they were cohort or admitted in one private room in our COVID ward. And then things turned out for the worse. Her mom got really bad and was transferred to the ICU and didn't make it. And that one also broke my heart so bad because my colleague was a doctor and she wasn't able to, she was helpless, you know, because of the virus. She couldn't help her mom. Not good. And wala lang. What I'm stressing out in this video is It's a COVID anniversary video. It's not a happy anniversary, but I just hope and beg for those I just hope and beg for people who don't believe in the virus to have at least teeny tiny respect for those who struggle because of it, for the lives taken because of it. Kanang have a little respect for the patients, at least man lang, because it really does exist, and you should be thankful, and you should realize how lucky you are na you are not the ones suffering from it, and you are not the ones who are victimized by it. I mean, I do get your point why you don't believe in the virus. Like, I hear rants from other people, other freaking ignorant people, claiming na, for example, I've been in a car accident, in a motor-vehicular accident, road traffic accident, and then when I got to the ER, I tested positive for COVID. I mean, how could that be? So you should actually think about your exposure. I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault. I get it why you're wondering, but you should take note that when you were sent to the ER from that accident, the ER is where you meet everyone. So your exposure there is beyond 100%. You meet people there from all walks of life. You don't have any idea what they're carrying with them. So of course, you have the biggest chance of testing out positive, or if not, you'll become a person under investigation. So don't be mad if it's that way, because the exposure when you are sent to the ER is huge. And I hope you believe in COVID just to pay respect for the patients who lost their lives and for the people who had to go through. And I hope my two stories would actually change the way you see COVID. It exists. So that's it. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I hope see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.